So if you're anything like me, you've probably had a lot of people not believe in you. In fact, most people didn't believe in me in accomplishing anything in my life. So when I was growing up, I was considered stupid. So that was not necessarily all that politically incorrect to say that back in the 1980s as it is now. It sounds crude now, but back in the 1980s, I would have been considered stupid or slow or delayed. I was in special ed for many years of my life. I remember in the classroom where I would be pulled out and I'd go to Mrs. McGregor's class, who was really sweet, and there was four or five of us that needed extra learning, and we would all sit around on these big bouncy balls. You know those big yoga balls that that people use for yoga now. Well, back in the day, they were actually not used for yoga. They were used for therapeutic purposes, and that's what we sat on, and we would learn different things. I remember learning how to write and do cursive in special ed, and that was a real big thing for me because I'm still not a good writer. I can't write very well. If you look at my writing, it's pretty messy. At least my wife makes fun of me for the messiness. I also remember I was never good at sports. I remember being the last person. I remember participation or participation days. I don't know if anybody does that anymore, but in the 1980s they had this thing which was a province-wide or a country-wide thing where you would have contests. Everything was very contest-oriented in the 1980s and tournament-oriented, as it is still today. But even in the schools, they would do these things where you'd have contests, and there would be 15 different exercises that you'd compete against others, and you would get bronze, silver, and gold, or you'd get the participation ribbon. And I got all participation ribbons all the time, and I don't think anybody really realized that at the time. But for somebody that was really struggling and trying, it was tough to get those participation ribbons. I liked it, but at the same time, I wish I was a kid that actually would have got a bronze or a silver, but I never did. I remember in baseball when we'd all, or kickball or something in the, I lived in a rural community, so Barclay Public School, for all of you who are in Dryden, would remember this. It doesn't exist anymore, but it was a rural school with 80 kids, K through 8, and there's a big field in the background, in the back of the school, and we would all go and play, and we would once in a while we would pick teams for baseball or kickball, and I remember being picked last every single time. Every time I was picked last at this rural school. So if it's a rural school with 80 kids from K through 8, I wouldn't have been all that good at all, if you can imagine. And I remember having running contests, or running was a big thing at Barclay Public School, and I would be always last. I remember running through the woods by myself, walking and running and really working at it, and then we'd have to go through a gravel pit, and I was the only one there. And I would show up probably 5-10 minutes after everybody else, maybe even 15 minutes after everybody else. So if you don't know me, I'm an associate professor of innovation strategy and entrepreneurship at probably one of the best schools in America at this time. Um, so you're probably trying to figure out, like, what is going on here? How did he actually get here? So first of all, I want to tell you about the Reciprocity Project. So it's a project where I'm just trying to give back as much as I possibly can, because so many people did actually help me out eventually, and I learned various lessons in my life from people that didn't support me and people that did support me. So I want to help you out with dealing with these things. So I created this kind of editing website because I always really struggle with writing. It's a sharing economy, editing website where you could get feedback on your writing. That's what Reciprocity is. You can check it out and help me out if you want to. That would be amazing. Um, and I've got all these different blog posts and stuff on how to deal with various things in academia and in school and stuff. But I really want to talk to you about if you are feeling like this, where people don't believe in you. And this has happened to me in all stages of my life. It's not a big thing. It's not new. When I was in high school, I was always, I didn't have a lot of friends. You could ask my family that. I really, truly did not have a lot of friends. In fact, it is a big thing that drives a lot of anxiety in my life. When I was in the formative years of grade 9, 10, and 11, I did not have any friends. And, you know, going to university. So first of all, getting into the university I got into, which is a really good school, the University of Waterloo, was sort of considered unheard of at my high school. Very few people would have went to that school. It's one of the best engineering schools in Canada, and getting in there was a big thing. But I'd never talked about my story at all. I didn't talk about how I grew up like this. And the same thing when I went off to the best business school in Canada, or one of the best. And I'm not saying this just to, sort of toot on my horn and stuff, but I really want you to sort of get a picture of this. But nobody believed at all that that I would get into that program. Nobody believed when I went on the job market when I was doing my PhD that it was possible from the school I came from in Canada, one of the best ones, Ivy Business School. It's a great one. Nobody believed it was possible. That was the rumors. It was possible to get an interview at at the best business schools in the world, and I got interviews at Wharton and MIT and my institution, which I'm not going to talk about. The only reason I'm not talking about my institution is simply because it is, I don't want to talk, and I don't want to get into IP issues and stuff with my institution, so I want to keep that separated. Intellectual property issues. But, having this where people don't believe in you and people think that you're, stupid, you're white trash, you're slow, whatever it is, whatever ethnicity you have or whatnot, where people just don't believe in you, that's actually sometimes a very positive thing, because if you have the right mentality, and this is where it's really important to think about others that are putting you down, and not sort of believe in what they're saying. It's so important to believe them. But if you have the right mentality and you use them as your fire inside to prove them wrong, to discount them, to say that you're just not right with whatever it is in your life. If you're experiencing these moments in your life and you don't have any belief in yourself, trust me, all along and even today, I don't believe a lot of stuff with myself. I have a lot of self-doubt. But here's the thing that gets me going is I try to take a step at a time. I take one step and I take another step, and I just keep marching forward until when I'm 95 years old, I'm still going to keep marching forward, whatever that looks like. And if I can get you to think about the world in that sense, I'm 41 years old, and there's very few people that are out jogging in the morning. There's very few people that I know of that are from my high school that are still exercising regularly. It just happens that way, where people think that it is easy, and then they lose faith in the process. They lose the passion to keep going. And so if I can encourage you to, if people do call you stupid, if people say that you are not bright, or you're slow, or you're not fast enough, or you're picked last at school, whatever it is that happens, I really need you to really dig deep. And first of all, I know it hurts, and I know it doesn't feel good. It never feels good for anybody to be in that circumstance. But if you can keep going and taking that step forward. That's the huge part of life. Taking that step, going one more, keep going and not giving up on yourself will get you a lot further than anything to do with talent. Will get you anything, will get you so much more done than anything if you have skill. I don't care what it is, if you've got supportive parents, if you grow up in a beautiful home, whatever it is it looks like. If you grow up in a college town or whatever, all of this does not matter. What matters is the fact that you're the type of person, no matter what's going on, is that you are going to take one more step, and you're just going to keep doing that. And just disregard what everybody else says. In fact, that's how you actually live a good life, is you keep beating your own drum and doing the thing that you need to do, disregarding everybody else, taking that step. In fact, if somebody gives you flack for something, you use that as fame, or you flame for going a little further and going a little harder. So with that, that's all I want to talk about today. And hopefully if you're experiencing this, that this makes you feel better. Know that I know it hurts at this moment. I know it is a difficult thing that you're going through, but just keep moving forward, taking that step, disregarding other people, and just keep marching. All right, so give me a thumbs up if you like this video. Take care, and we'll see you soon. Bye.